Dearest elegant crafters, our cover, though exquisite, remains but a whispered promise. Today, we shall imbue it with a beating heart. Pages ready to hold a season's worth of secrets. Welcome back to the Manor. I'm Asara, and after our last session, our Regency Journal stands poised for its grand transformation. Today is the day we shall sew in our precious signatures, turning a collection of pages into a cohesive tale. And do not let the needle distress you, my dear friends. You will find the assembly quite easy and most satisfying as each signature finds its home. We shall then add the final graceful closure to secure our treasured contents. Now do take note, the Manor gates open for new creative sessions twice a week, every Tuesday and Friday. If you choose to accompany me on this promenade, I promise you this. By the time our season concludes, you shall hold not just a stack of papers, but a fully completed heirloom journal in your hands, like this one here. To ensure no one loses their way, I have curated all our future lessons into a single playlist. Think of it as your personal map through the Manor, allowing you to return to any chapter with ease. So do be sure to subscribe and ring the little bell. It is, after all, the only way to ensure the Footman alerts you the very moment our next chapter arrives. Should you wish to procure these very same patterns and papers for your own journal, you will find a full inventory list tucked discreetly within the description box below. In this video, we are working with the Regency Romance collection, which is available in our Etsy boutique. If you are watching this video on your TV, here is the QR code for this collection. Simply open your phone camera app and hold it up to the QR code and then click the link. And now, let's begin. So here's what we'll need for this project. You will need some kind of thread to sew in the signatures. I have this here from a bookbinding kit that I will link below. You will need some needles, an awl. You can also use a Crop-A-Dile. I have here a piece of foam that came in some packaging. Some eyelets for our tassel. Scissors, of course. And I have here some ribbons for the closure of this journal. And what I have here is a 2.5-inch spine template. This is a freebie that you can download, and I will link that below. That makes it a lot easier for you to sew in your signatures. In your free file that you can download, there are two templates, a 2-inch spine and a 2.5-inch spine. For this journal, I'm using the 2.5-inch spine. You will need some clips, some strong clips, either some bulldog clips, or these are actually clips for sewing, and they seem to work pretty well as well. And then I have also some reverse tweezers. I want to see if they work well. I want to give those a try as well, so we'll see how that works. Of course, you need your journal cover, and you will need your signatures. So I went ahead and I have cut out the two pieces from your spine template. And so the first piece that we will be using is this part here. We want to fold the sides of this, which makes it a little bit easier to line things up, like so. Next, we want to put holes where the markings are. And for that, I'll be using my little awl. Sometimes I call it an owl. Please forgive me. I think owl is cuter than awl, but that's just me. And I like to use the foam, which is kind of like a safer way perhaps to use it all so you won't poke yourself. And while we're at it, let's put some holes here in this piece as well. So now that we have our holes here, let's mark on our cover where these holes go. I like to sew in the signatures directly to the cover. It just seems to be a little bit more stable for the signatures not to come off. But that's just a personal preference. And now we go ahead and mark each hole on the cover. So we'll and we remove this template. And you can see now that all the holes are marked. So you can use either an awl or I use a Crop-A-Dile to punch the holes in. If you use a Crop-A-Dile, you can use the smaller setting for the hole punch, which is the 1/8. And here we have our holes for our signatures. Next, we need to put holes in our signatures. So for this, again, I like to use a foam piece. It's not ideal. I'm still on the lookout for a piece that is solid foam. So I have to find my spot. So then we go to the center of the signature, and this is the reason why we leave the center blank. And now we want to make sure that the signature is really very tightly stacked. So we want to use a ruler to make sure that it is all perfectly together. And we will use our signature piece and we'll fold it. I always like to fold it the other way first so I can see the line. There, and then we'll fold it the other way. Right. So now we have this piece in here. Our signatures are stacked. And then we'll put this in like so, in the center. So it depends now on how large your pages are, depending on your printer and how much it prints borderless, or if you have to cut off the edges of your pages. So your journal pages might have a different height than this template, because this is the standard template for the page. And so what you can do is now you can so what I'd like to do is to put it evenly with the page so that the top and the bottom at the same distance approximately. And then I will mark it like so. And mark it here, like so. And then I'll simply cut. The ends off so that it is easier to center the template. So that makes sure that it's always in the center and that all of the pages and all of the signatures line up properly. So I keep going back and center it just to make sure that it is really nice and neat. And then we'll put another clip. This is what it would look like. So you have your templates here for the holes. Yes. And now let's make some holes. So we want to keep the pages very much like so. Perfect. Yep. Always check that it's right in the center here. I like to keep holding the pages just like so. And right through. And here, one last. I think it's straight enough. We can try to aim for perfection, but it also might not always be completely possible. So I'd like you to be in a very just relaxed state when you're doing this kind of work. So now that we have the holes in there, now we want to simply slide the clips over to remove the paper strip, because we don't want to sew in the paper strip into the signature. There. So now we have our signature here. Signature 1. You have to remember the invitation. Then take your journal. Make sure everything is the right side up. Compare, make sure. And then we'll sew in the first signature here. So this is where that goes. Now what I like to do is I like to double up this twine here. And I'm going to go 5 times. I just like to be generous with my string. I just don't like to end up having not enough string. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I'll use make a little knot in here. So I like to secure the end of this thread so that it doesn't run away from us while we are stitching. So for this journal, we are going from the inside. Some like to start on the outside because I like to put beads on the ends, on the tail of this. But for this particular journal, that's not the look that we're doing. So we're starting from the inside. We're going in from the center. Double check which hole, which opening. There. Coming out. And then we return from the top. Like so. Return to the center. Double check. Yeah, opening. And now we're putting it in the bottom. Double check. And coming back here from the bottom. And we're returning to the center. Now we want to secure this thread here in the center. So we're going in to hook into this stitch here. Move it through. And we release this tail here. And now we want to really make sure that this is very taut so that the signature won't move around a lot. Check. Yep, it is very secure. To make a double knot, to make sure it really stays. So you can decide to either cut the string here, or you can leave it like so, or you can leave it like so and add some charms to it. So it seems like we don't need this here, so I won't be using it. So let's see here. Very secure, and now we can release the clips. That wasn't so hard, was it? Simple 3 stitches. Center, back from the top, center, back from the bottom, coming up, and tying it up. Now let's repeat the same thing 3 more times. Our next signature is the ball. So make sure that all your signatures are in order, in the right order, so that you don't have to figure things out too much. But signature 2 is the ball. Finding our center. So this is the first alignment that I like to do, just to make sure that the pages here are all stacked properly. Is here is stacked properly. holding it with one hand so it doesn't move. Putting this in here. Double check, double check. Yep. Holding it just a little closed so it's nice and easy. So another tip is, because most of the activity with ribbons and stuff is on the top part, so I like to put my first clip in the bottom of the page because there's less going on and it's not as thick. So that makes it easy to have a nice firm alignment of the template and the signature. And now we can put the next clip in there, also in the bottom, because that's the easier one. Let's do that here. Throw that out. Always check with your finger. Is everything, are the pages together? Yeah. Now we can move to the top part of the signature. Again, keep putting your finger in to make sure that the pages are really nice and tight together. Then we move the clips over, clips over, clips over, clips over. Now, signature 2 goes in the second spot here. And again, we'll use our yarn. Between 4 and 5 times. You'll get a feel for it. You can also see if you want to double up on the stitch, or if you feel it's enough to just have this one go around. And off we go. Center in. Center hole here. Coming out here. Coming back from the top. Checking our hole here. Coming back here. Checking that nothing is tangled. Coming back to the center. Through the second hole here. Returning from the bottom. Coming back. Up. From right to left or left to right. Whichever works for you. Moving it through here because this stitch holds this knot. Release the bottom thread. Tightening the thread. Tighten it. Our next signature is the Courtship signature. Signature 3 is the Courtship. Again, just double checking everything's right side up. It's very satisfying to sew the signatures into a journal. It's such a momentous time. It's beautiful. Do not be tempted to stray, my dearest friends, for the true strength of any journal lies in the delicate dance of needle and thread. A misplaced stitch, a hasty knot, and the secrets within may prove far too eager to escape. Remain with me as we ensure every page is bound with utmost care and add the final enchanting ribbon closure. And now we have our last signature, the proposal signature. Signature number 4, the proposal. And we did it. We did it. This is the most satisfying feeling when all the signatures are in. Beautiful. That is so much fun. Good. So now we want to cover this. Of course, some people like it actually open like this with an open view to the signatures. That is perfectly fine. But I feel I want to add. So I have here this lace that I want to use to cover this up, because I don't like to see the holes actually. So I made this piece a little bit longer so we can fold it over so it looks nice and clean. And I'm using my art glitter glue. You can also use your Fabri-Tac or whatever you usually use. So I've put clamps here on the sides so that it's a nice fold over here. And while this is drying, let's put our closure on. So for the closure, I would like to use a ribbon closure with these 2 ribbons that I have here for this journal. And this is a very beautiful romantic ribbon. I love using this. So I love to tie a journal together because that allows enough wiggle room that when our journal expands with certain things, if we add things to it, it is just so much more flexible. And the easiest way actually to do this is to add an eyelet like this and then simply put through these ribbons here. Now, I am using here 48 inches for each of the ribbons. So each of the ribbons is 48 inches long. And to thread these through, I simply fold the satin ribbon around this wavy white ribbon here. So it's a nice smooth surface. And then I simply use some tweezers like these and put them through and put them through. Like so. And then we'll make a knot to secure them. So this is one side. And then we'll do the same here on the back. Comes out here. And then simply pull. And we'll make another knot. There. Oh, that looks so romantic. My goodness. There we go. So now let's set our eyelet for our tassel. So I have these eyelets from Crop-A-Dile. Perfect. So I'm holding the eyelet up here to the as far up as I can, so that the lobster clasp also goes around it properly. So I'm using my Crop-A-Dile again, and I'm using the 316 hole setting for this eyelet. And because we have 4 signatures, it's very easy to have a space in here in the center. Beautiful. So now our tassel is nice and secure here on this journal. So that was just the finishing touch here. There she is, our Regency romance journal. Now whole, its heart beating with stories untold, securely bound and gracefully closed. She is ready for her debut. But my dear friends, the true reveal awaits. Join me this Tuesday when we shall finally take a full promenade through these finished pages. I shall be leafing through the entire journal, and you must stay alert, for I have included several hidden features and secret details that I have not been shown in any of our previous sessions. It promises to be a most enchanting flip-through. And mark your calendars for next week, as the Manor's carriages are preparing for a most exciting journey. We shall be embarking upon a grand adventure to the continent, bringing back an entirely new collection brimming with fresh inspiration. Until then, keep your wits sharp and your hearts open to romance. Yours in lace and ribbons and with much love, Asara. Good day.